Welcome to Hot Tub Talks with Mark and Natasha.
Yes. Welcome to Hot Tub Talks with Mark and Natasha. I would say this is like starting at the end or just starting today, day one, without trying to be perfect.
Fiscal year 2024.
Exactly. Right? And just learning that things don't have to be perfect. And we'll just jump right in. We'll do an introduction. We have one of those messages back there somewhere. But if you're here, you probably already know us. And that's a good thing because we just want to share what we do and how we do it. Which is in the hot tub, we like to talk because it's our safe space for us to share our thoughts, communicate, work through any disagreements, ask for help. So it's been wonderful because if you get heated, you're going to actually get heated in the hot tub and you're going to overheat. And so you know you got to calm down because you can always tell when you start to come up out the water.
Yep. And then it's time for the polar dip.
So today
Ooh, you off.
is about puzzles.
Well, context is all the times over the years Latasha comes across things that she's written down that say, this is it. This is the magic piece. This is what's going to make this is the last piece of the puzzle. That's the key. The last piece.
I'm like, oh, this is the last. I'm always saying that. This is the last piece of. This is what I needed.
Yep.
And
this is finally gonna. Yeah. Watch out, Elon.
And
the magic sauce for the world.
The magic sauce. This is the end all be all of everything. Mm-hmm. And what it is revelation, right?
Yeah.
I'm always having some type of revelation, which is a good thing. And I'm always growing and learning. We both are always growing and learning. But recently, Mark pointed out to me that I always say that. And I didn't realize that I always say that until he pointed it out to me.
Glass shattered.
Right? And we got to have a talk about glass shattered. I was going to write down these topics and then we'll talk about it. But today, we're going to talk about puzzles. Yeah. And so I had this revelation about something that I needed, but it wasn't the end all be all. And because of my perfectionism or like, oh, I have to have it perfect kind of thing, I wouldn't do something until I felt like it was perfect. And so then I thought like, oh, it's going to be perfect now because I have this thing. Mm-hmm. And that is the last piece of the puzzle. Well, do you want to describe, is it the last piece of the puzzle or
yes.
What do you see?
Yep. And of course, you never want to have the last piece to the puzzle, right? Because then there's nothing else to strive for. There's nothing else to look for. So it's never the last piece of the puzzle. And you always talk about it. It's like, oh, what are our words? Mm-hmm. And what do they really mean in our brains, right? And this is just, right? It's a good piece of the puzzle. It's a key piece of the puzzle. It's because you never know what piece it is. Is it a corner? Right? It's like, oh, well, this is a defining edge.
Yeah.
Right? Or is it just a normal edge piece where it's like, oh, well, I've kind of set up this line, right?
Yeah.
Or is it there's some pattern inside of the bigger puzzle, right? That's like, oh, this is a key feature for the puzzle, right?
Yeah.
There's lots of different, again, revelations that can be had in this large never-ending puzzle, right?
And also the conclusion. I say the conclusion. See, I always see like these.
It's final.
Yeah, very final words. But this is what I'm learning about myself, right? Because when I say things like that, it means I'm done and I don't need to learn anymore. I don't need to do anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
And that causes me mental hardship because I thought I'm done. Yeah. Why is it still not working?
Right. Yeah. Or wait, there was more to learn in this thing. Oh my gosh.
Exactly.
What was wrong with my perception before? But you just came to an edge of your understanding, right? And then you gain a little bit more insight, and that edge, again, the more our knowledge grows, right, the more the edge of our lack of understanding grows. Right? Thank you, Neil deGrasse Tyson.
And so what I was thinking that came to mind when we were talking about this, and what prompted me to just turn on the recorder and just start recording again, which was, there are these, when you do a puzzle, there's certain sections like, oh, I know this is the car, this is the sky, this is the water, you know all the little different features. And so when you find that thing, I have all of these different pieces, or as Mark likes to say, these buckets in my life, right? These buckets of blessings. I have, my family bucket, my husband, just our relationship bucket, the bucket with my kids, business buckets, volunteer bucket, like all of those different things. And this piece that I came up with today was I was talking about, how do I represent us, you and I, when I say us, Mark and I, because I wanted to put Hot Tub Talks out there. But for us, and for me especially, I don't want to do anything the way the world does it. I want to do it the way God has called me to do it. And when I have that revelation, like, oh, this is what he says, and all of those things, I had that revelation. And so then I thought, oh, here's the final piece of the puzzle, which is how to represent us. And now that I know how to do that, now I can work through it, or I can practice, and that's the thing. It's not going to be perfect.
Come up with one way.
I've come up with one way that represents us at this time and at this moment. And even just going through our memories, we were just talking about things that happened like 5 years ago. We're completely different people. I mean, we're completely different people from just last month, I believe.
Okay.
Right? I would say, and not completely different. We've learned to communicate better. We had a fantastic weekend, because this is the other thing. Well, let me pose this as a question, because this is the other, I can talk a lot. So I want to ask you a question. You said that you had a great 3 days. In the past, when we've had extra time on our hands to be with each other, which can be scary for couples, it's easy to keep busy, which is a defense mechanism for me. I keep busy, and so I don't have to actually sit down and talk to you or connect with you. And this was my revelation, was the connecting piece. That's my word for this year, is connecting. So I want to ask you, what was it for these 3 days that made it different? And what was the revelation that you got out of it for yourself, how you see me, and how you see our relationship? And that's a lot, so I'll let you take the floor.
What's the revelation I got for myself? Right? Well, it's not just I don't look at it as a revelation, but it's a revelation, right? In my mind, right? But it was just a ability to enjoy all the pieces of it, even though it was, there was some work, there was some working out, there was, our alone time, our time with the kids, right? Our time with each other. Right? It all, in my mind, it flowed. There was no awkwardness to it. There was no, we got stuff done, right? Even, things we had no plan on doing before the weekend, right? We had plans, and they got done, and we ran into things, discovered things, right? That, it's like, hey, this would be nice to do, right? Like, I don't think redoing all the closet space in the mudroom was on your list of things going into the 3 days, and then it turned out, that, look, now the hot tub is, the pump is off in the hot tub, so now it's like just quiet nature and us. Well, not quiet nature, there's birds just freaking out. But anyway. Me not planning, well, I'll kind of jump in right now, because the old me, when my plans, because of perfectionism,
if it didn't go the way that I planned, the way that I thought, and what I wanted to accomplish, all of these things, if there's a detour, I am upset.
Rails,
I am upset with everybody, and it just ruins my entire weekend, and it ruins the time for everybody else because now everybody's on eggshells.
Yeah.
And I thought, he just asked me to paint these shelves. Now I could say, you do it, or I can just roll up my sleeves and just get it done. And once I got started, I kind of was like, oh my gosh, this is a big task. I don't know if this is it going to be one of those things that I'm going to start and it's going to take me 2 weeks to finish. That was my thinking. And because it's not like I got started early in the morning.
No.
It wasn't until like 1 or 2 o'clock. Yeah. And I was just like, and it's the last day of the holiday, the 3-day weekend. And, today got to get up, get the girls ready for school, homeschool, and make sure they're doing all the things. So it's like, is this really the way that I want to use my time? But the other thing about me is I enjoy making things better. I enjoy organizing. I enjoy things looking better. And if I can do that, so that fed into me and I just went with it. And as I started to paint, I was listening to music, and, it would also be easy for me to like, well, I'm up here painting, and the girls, they're on the computer playing their video games. You were doing stuff in and out and everything like that. But I was just like, and so then that feeling of, why am I working alone? Another part of my personality is just like, if I'm working, everybody should be working, kind of thing. And it's just like, leave them be. And I took that moment and I called a friend of mine. And I'm gonna give a shout out to Ellie Shama because she'll like that. I called Ellie Shama. She just moved away, great friend, and we talk business like all the time. And I knew that I could call her and that conversation was going to be energizing if she was available. And if not, no worries, I go back to my music. And so as we talked, I don't even know how long we stayed on the phone, but I know she was getting dinner ready for her family. She went outside to eat with the dogs, like all those things. And a couple of hours later, she's like, are you done? I'm like, I'm still not done. I said, but thank you. Like, this was so good. And we got a lot of things uncovered. Again, when you sit down and you have the opportunity to speak with someone, it just, So did all of that, and I felt good. I took a break, and when I took a break, you surprised me by painting a couple of the shelves, or finishing off the big section and then painting a couple of shelves. And so that got me further ahead, and it made me want to complete the project. And so I stayed in there until it was completely done. Didn't take any shortcuts or anything like that. And so that was a big growth moment for me. And as I was having these feelings that I had to fight through, like, leave everybody alone. Don't mess with them because I want this done, kind of thing. So that's what you were saying, that it flowed. And so did it flow because I wasn't in a mood?
But nobody was really in the mood, right? The girls were, relatively solid, although they pick on each other because they love one another. We'll keep saying that. So, good times. We had a little game time. Ate some junk food. Got our workouts in. Got out and got moving. It flowed.
It flowed. I like that. And if there is one thing...
We got alone time. A lot of it.
Yes. A lot of it.
That was just inside of the puzzle, there's how do you roll with the punches? How do you, again, temper your expectations, right? To be able to withstand changes, right? Yeah, and not be that perfectionist. I mean, sometimes it's good to be a perfectionist. Sometimes it's good to put this was done, and it was done to the best of your ability, right?
Yeah, but I think that's
sometimes
different.
But sometimes it's just like, hey, things come along, in your life that are unexpected, or you make a decision halfway through, right? It's like I keep using the rocket analogy. I can do all the calculations to get us to the moon in one single shot, or I can just point in the general direction if I had, and make course corrections along the way, right?
Yep.
All depends on your fuel capacity.
Your fuel capacity. Yep.
So.
And we'll leave it at that, because that's a whole nother section. So fuel capacity and
trajectories
and shattering the glass.
Yep. Oh yeah. There you go. There's two conversations came out of this one. Two more conversations. So.
And that's what we do.
And with that, it's time to go to the polar dip.
Yeah. All right. Well, you guys have a wonderful day, and we'll see you next time on Hot Tub Talks
with Mark and Natasha.